Welcome back to Safe Settings Podcast. I am Adedamala Flourish Balami, your host. Today we are looking at the topic helping children build healthy relationships. Our focus will be around teaching empathy and perspective taking, friendship challenges, conflict and social problem solving, as well as supporting shy, sensitive, or socially anxious children. And by the end of today's conversation, we would have been able to understand how to coach children through social challenges, how to model respectful communication, and how to build teamwork and cooperation skills. I need us to remember that belonging matters. You remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs? A sense of belonging is one of the major human needs. So, for a child to understand how to develop social skills, how to interact with others is very key for their development. Empathy can be taught, communication can be learned, and conflict can be navigated. I say that again. Empathy can be taught, communication can be learned, and conflict can be navigated. It is important to let children know these three concepts. That they can learn empathy. There is no one that cannot appreciate other people. Communication can also be learned. And when there is conflict, it's not the end of life. It's not the end of a relationship. It can be navigated. All right. So how do we help children handle conflict when we have told them these three principles? By coaching them to pause. We coach them to pause, name what they are feeling, and listen to the other person. Then they look for solutions. When a child comes to you and says, I learned of an event that happened. So, closing time in his school, a child reported to her mother something that a classmate has done to her. The mother got out of her car, stepped or wherever she was, got away from her child, looked for the classmate that did something nasty to her child, and slapped that classmate. Now, how do we coach a child how to handle conflict? We said we teach them to pause. We ourselves need to pause. Remember, we said that you cannot solve conflict when you are emotionally flooded. So as adults, we need to have self-regulated to help the child regulate. So remember, we mentioned something in one of our episodes. We co-regulate to self-regulate. The mother just went straight and slapped that classmate. Now imagine a mother, a woman called a mother, slapping. Even if it's a secondary school child, how old possibly can the child be? We teach children to handle conflict by coaching them to pause. A lot of our coaching is by our actions. We model these things to them. Coaching them to pause, to name what they feel, and listen to the other person. And then they seek for solution together. Because it takes two to tango. It cannot be that our child is the only one that's right. And in a situation where our child is completely right, we still want to practice the pause. So we will only be able to create empathy or build empathy when we let a child know that they are being listened to. When we model kindness to our children. And when we invite them to come and imagine how someone else feels. So how do we invite a child to come and imagine how someone else feels? Sometimes we say, imagine that happened to you. What would you do? You know, you are helping them step into other people's shoes. That's how we build empathy in children. Because we're talking about conflict resolution. It is important for us to allow the other person speak, to listen to them, to see where they're coming from. Then we'll seek solution together. We are not necessarily going to align with where they are coming from. So the child that is being offended is also not going to necessarily align with where the person is coming from. because sometimes their experiences does not justify their behavior. But it is important to coach them to pause, name what they feel, listen to the other person, practice empathy, and we build empathy by letting the child know that we're listening to them, letting them know that we are concerned about how they see life, and so we invite them to come and imagine how someone else is feeling, and we model kindness as much as possible. When we model kindness as much as possible, the children understand how to build empathy. Here are the practical takeaways from today's episode. And the first thing is to model respectful speech, model empathy. No matter what, we are the ones showing them how life should be. We are the first set of people introducing children to life. Then we should teach perspective taking. Teach the children how to take perspective. Sometimes ask, in what 3 ways can I see this situation? That is perspective taking. Okay, I am seeing the situation from this perspective. What other 3 ways can I experience this same event? When you start giving yourself opportunity to take perspective like that, you'll take better decisions and your responses will be better. Also, it's an opportunity to practice the pause when you're saying, okay, what other ways could this have happened? What other ways could I have seen this instead of being offended? Here's the challenge for this episode. Practice one empathy moment this week. Remember what we said, empathy is putting yourself in other people's shoes, inviting children to come and imagine how others may be seeing it or how others may be feeling. So practice one empathy moment this week with your child, because healthy relationships are built, they are not found. And I'm here to remind you that we will have to train children to build relationships, to know that conflict is not the end of relationships. Even with the ones you love the most, you have conflicts and you resolve them. Until next week, keep in mind that healthy relationships are built, not found. Bye-bye.